Tonight, a brand new era of Monday Night Raw started. A month and a half after the Pittsburgh Penguins won the Stanley Cup, the city of Pittsburgh was on fire tonight. The first show of the Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley era. And there's nothing left for me to say except they hit this one way out of the park tonight. In 4.5 years we've been doing this show, I have never, ever looked more forward to broadcasting a show, not just with these guys, but for all of you, than I am right here and right now. This is the Monday night installment of the Wrestling Forum. Hello, friends. Ridiculously Over Anthony Floyer here with you for this debut Monday Night Raw edition of the Wrestling Forum, the first Monday Night Raw of the Stephanie McMahon, Mick Foley regime. Wow. Oh, my. I don't know what else. If you didn't just hear that right about now, if that's not any indication, after what we just saw here tonight, I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet and say like this: there ain't gonna be no rants tonight. Hell, I'll even give you a spoiler alert. There's not even gonna be a weekly women's rant from Dee Dee Woodson. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I mean, oh my Lord in heaven, what a show we witnessed here tonight, my friends. Michael Bullock and I just wrapped up our Raw chat. You know, we hadn't done it in a couple of weeks, you know, because of other commitments and whatnot, but we did it tonight, and boy howdy, I don't know if we've ever had more fun during one than we did here tonight. So, we're waiting on the. Yes,
Floyd, I'll go on the record as saying this. I think this was the best Raw chat we've ever done.
Amen to that, brother. You ain't just whistling Dixie. So, let me just say it like this. I mean, this was the Raw of the year. That is all I'm going to say. This was the best Raw of 2016 by a mile, a country mile, to say the very least. Ridiculously Over Anthony Floyer here with my esteemed panel, as always, the host of Tuesday Night Smack Talk, the Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher. We also have my partner in crime on the Raw chat, the Phenom, Michael Bullock. We also have the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson, the unofficial First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, and of course, in just a little bit, we'll also be joined by our executive producer / Imperial Grand Poobah / Hardcore Pipe Bomb, Derek Ferreira. I mean, he's got to be a kid in a candy store right about now, if you know what I mean. So that's all I can say about that. So let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right in. Monday night, this first Monday Night Raw of the Stephanie McMahon, Mick Foley era was live tonight from the Consol Energy Arena, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the home of the Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins. And oh my goodness, what else is there to say except let's just get right into it. We started it off with an in-ring segment, Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley. They came out and they addressed the entire Raw roster. Stephanie, ripped on Roman Reigns for Roman Reigns ate the pinfall in that triple threat match, the Shield triple threat match last night. Dean Ambrose scored the winning fall on him via the Dirty Deeds, which allowed the WWE Championship to go to SmackDown, to become exclusive to SmackDown. But nonetheless, usually you would have thought this was probably going to be some kind of authority type segment. No, this was not. This was anything but an authority segment. This set the tone for what ended up being a special night, friends. Because it was a newsworthy opening segment, and here's the reason why. Because of the fact that Dean Ambrose takes the WWE, I guess they're calling it WWE World Championship again. Make up your minds. WWE World Championship going to SmackDown with Shane O'Mac and Daniel Bryan and Dean Ambrose. What they decided to do was, this was expected. They're going to create a World Championship belt of their own. And Mick Foley announced that there were going to be not one, but two Fatal 4-Way matches. And the winners of those Fatal 4-Way matches would meet in the main event of tonight's Raw. And the winner of that main event will go on to face the #1 overall pick, Seth Rollins, at SummerSlam for the newly named WWE Universal Championship. As an ode to the WWE Universe, that's why Mick Foley announced that it was going to be named the Universal Championship. The 8 men for the 4-way matches: Sami Zayn, Sheamus, Chris Jericho, Cesaro, Roman Reigns, United States Heavyweight Champion Rusev, Kevin Owens, and Finn Balor. And then Stephanie and Mick Foley would go on to announce that Charlotte would defend the women's championship against Sasha Banks. We ain't waiting until SummerSlam. We're doing that sucker tonight. And oh my goodness, what we're going to be saying about that. But nonetheless, a newsworthy segment to open the show. I mean, I usually mock the idea of the authority figures addressing the talent after claiming it would be all about the talent, but obviously they needed to address the title situation. Bullock and I had a little bit of a back and forth with the naming of the new championship, calling it the Universal Championship. I think it's a little sappy, a little cheesy, a little lame myself. But, you know, it is what it is. But I'm also not really all that crazy about Seth Rollins getting a free pass to the SummerSlam match. It makes storyline sense that Stephanie would sign off on it, but it makes Mick Foley look a little weak for going along with it. Because you know how Mick Foley is, you know, a man of integrity and honesty. But you know, it is what it is. It's a 2-for-1 segment because this led into that first fatal 4-way match. It was Cesaro, United States Heavyweight Champion Rusev, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor. Winner of the match in 20 minutes and 30 seconds, Finn Balor. There is nothing left for me to say except this was the fight of the night. 4.25 to 4.5 stars. A phenomenal way to start off Monday Night Raw. A great debut for Finn Balor, who had to go over as it sent the right message about this being a new era. I am anxious to see if they go all the way by having Balor win in the main event as well. The show has at this point, the show had energy with the newsworthy opening and the 4-way. We weren't sure if they were going to maintain it for 3 hours, but I definitely like what I saw on this show tonight. So, but man, Finn Balor gets the Duke here, so he goes on to the main event. So there's nothing left for me to say except I'm going to bring in the host of Smack Talk tomorrow, of our Tuesday Smack Talk, the Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher. Michael Fletcher, the opening segment and that first 4-way with Finn Balor going over in 20.5 minutes. How do you follow that, my man? How do you follow that, good old MF?
Well, you know, we were always wondering how, with the new look of Monday Night Raw, new attitude, new logo. I know everybody's slammed about the logo, the new set. It kind of reminds me of SummerSlams from past years, but the new addition with the commentary crew, what were we going to get? Well, what we got was something great. It starts off with a devastating, great promo. Of course, they got to slam Roman Reigns for losing last night and not bringing the WWE title to Monday Night Raw. And the creation of the WWE Universal title, I'm a little intrigued. I want to know a little more about it. I want to see what the belt's going to look like. I think that's definitely going to be within the range. But I think, all in all, I think it was a very solid way to start Monday Night Raw. And then the match itself was a 4.5 star. Absolutely 4.5 stars. I mean, this was an unbelievable match. I love the body of work of everybody involved. And unfortunately, for me, I was flipping through because, of course, I was very interested in another program that was going on tonight. But, you know, I loved what I was watching. I felt the emotion. I felt the excitement. This was one of the best Fatal 4-ways I've ever seen in a long time. You know, we talked about some great Fatal 4-way matches. You know, we just had one recently for the Intercontinental Championship at Extreme Rules, and now we had an amazing Fatal 4-way for the right to fight later in the night for the to become a contender for the WWE Universal title. So, I mean, it is unbelievable how this come out. Finn Balor was a very high draft pick, as many of you guys know, picked 5th in the upcoming in the draft, and was the first NXT guy off the board. So you kind of knew that in one sense, WWE was going to have to be very high and was going to take a major risk, making Finn Balor possibly the face of Monday Night Raw, maybe the face of the whole thing. But at the end of the day, I thought they delivered in so many ways, and I love the match. I love the body of work. Finn Balor moves on. What does he do? Well, you're just going to have to wait and find out. But let me tell you, it was definitely a sight to see. The new theme, the attitude. But one thing you have to know, look at what that thing said. Balor Club Worldwide. Derek Ferreira, are you listening? Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock is yours, my friend.
Well, actually, we got Derek
I was
Ferreira.
just going to say, we just got Derek Ferreira in here.
Yeah, we got Derek Ferreira in. Derek, perfect timing. We're gonna get your thoughts now. Hardcore Pipe on Derek Ferreira now joining us. Your thoughts on the opening segment as well as the Fatal 4-Way match won by your man, Finn Balor, in 20.5 minutes. It's all yours, bud.
All right, hold on. I'm just digesting something over here quickly. Don't want to choke on the air, but yeah. So, all right, perfect timing over here, and yeah, let's talk about the segment over here. The segment itself, I actually did like the segment. I know you guys probably talked about the matches that they set up tonight for Monday Night Raw, and we finally get the question about the World Championship belt. Now they're going to call it the Universal Championship. So, during Monday Night Raw tonight, I actually did some research, and I was like, you know, did WWE ever have like a Universal Championship in their history, whether it was the WWF, WWF? There was nothing. And I'm kind of surprised because I know independent promotions use that concept. So there's some people on Reddit, and I actually go on the Square Circle Reddit, which is, you know, the most diehard of the IWC. You got to be careful of what you say over there, or you're going to get bashed. They did not like the name. I don't know why. And, you know, just give it a chance. You know, this is a new era. I don't know if you guys talked about the set, didn't you? The new way.
No.
I'll get into that quickly. When they started off the show, on Reddit, people were like comparing the new set to 2013 SummerSlam, and they noticed that the commentary team was going to be put where they were in 2002, 2005. I saw that with my very own eyes, so I'm like, you know, they're going with the original brand extension. You know, this is like a remake of it. But anyways, back to what happened over here. Of course, Stephanie McMahon using her biasness, favoring Seth Rollins, and the only thing that really didn't make sense was Stephanie McMahon basically calling Roman Reigns a loser, and then putting him in the Fatal 4 matches that started off the night. Now, the match itself with Balor over here, and let's see, what rating did I give that match? I gave it a 3.5 stars. I thought it was, let me see, one of the top fights of the night. To me, it was, I'll say it, the second best fight of the night. And boy, looking at that result over here, that main event, I'll get into that because I think this is why I'll say it. This is why I actually delayed going on the show tonight. Because of what happened in the main event, for one, and two, having to set up. So I didn't want to be all hyper going on the show tonight. But anyways, I liked the closing stretch of that match, and it really brought in the pace of that match together. Balor winning this match was awesome. And this is why they kind of make, you know, Finn Balor, you know, I think they're going to make him serious. They're going to take this dude seriously on Monday Night Raw. and that is actually going to be huge. Meanwhile, the other participants in the match, I don't know what happens to them. Rusev, I already know who he's going to feud with at SummerSlam. For those that want to know what happened to the Predicting the SummerSlam blog that I was supposed to come out today, I just had a lot of work on Sports Blog. That will be out tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. sharp. So check that out on sportsblog.com. So who knows? Sky's the limit with Rusev. The sky's the limit with Kevin Owens and Cesaro. And commentary. I gotta say about this commentary team tonight, way better than the previous commentary team. Goodness gracious. It's a new era. I love the chemistry. Adam Graves, I always say this Adam Graves thing. Oh, Corey Graves, let me just say it like this. He's a breath of fresh air to Monday Night Raw. I've always liked his body of work on NXT. So it's a great addition. So 3.5 stars is my rating for this. So back to Anthony Florio.
Well, actually, it's Michael Bullock's turn. So
All right.
Michael Bullock, fresh off our Raw chat. I mean, we had a lot of fun with this match. And then again, we had a lot of fun with everything on this show tonight, didn't we?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, we had a whole lot of fun with our Raw chat during the show tonight. So, yes, hello, friends. This is the Phenom, Mike Bullock, here for the Monday night edition of the Wrestling Forum. Delighted to be here as always, especially on this, with the beginning of the new era, starting with this Monday Night Raw. Yeah, the opening segment. I mean, yeah, I really loved it. I mean, how Stephanie and Mick Foley were addressing the roster, that we have no champion, and that Mick Foley announced that they're gonna create a WWE Universal Championship. And I mean, I understand why people are slamming it because they don't like it, but I actually like it. And I mean, you need to give it a chance. I mean, this is based, I guess, naming it after the WWE universe. So, yeah, I mean, I'm willing to give it a chance. I know there are some other people that are pissing all over this, but I'm willing to give it a shot. And yeah, and with the competition in there, like Kevin Owens, Rusev, Cesaro, Finn Balor, Chris Jericho, Sheamus, Roman Reigns, yeah, and Sami Zayn. So, and then also announcing that Charlotte was going to defend the women's championship tonight. Yeah, I mean, we're not waiting till SummerSlam. We're getting it tonight. So, and we're definitely going to get into that. But yeah, great segment to start off this new era of Monday Night Raw. And as far as the Fatal 4-Way match goes, 4.5 stars, fight of the night. I mean, what can you say? I mean, 20.5 minutes. I mean, a great opening match to start off the new era of Monday Night Raw. I mean, and they actually put Finn Balor over. And yeah, I mean, I love the action here. And yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So yeah, so who's gonna face Finn Balor in the main event later on in the night? You're gonna have to wait and find out. So 4.5 stars, fight of the night. Let's send it. I'm gonna toss it up to our Twisted Angel, Dee Woodson, for her thoughts on all this. So Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
I definitely enjoyed the segment. I thought it was really, really awesome the way it was handled and taken care of. I do agree, that Foley seems a little bit more like a yes man right now than a GM. But of course, that's probably exactly what Stephanie wanted. as for the match, it was definitely a really great match. I would definitely give it probably 4 stars because I was really into it, and very glad to see out of everybody in that match that Finn Balor did come out on top, and seeing that that's someone new that they're giving a slight push to. So I'm not going to say too much more than that. I'll toss it over to Florio.
All right, fair enough. This is going to be a little bit of a theme of the show tonight. How do you follow up a great match with a cool down match? And it doesn't get any more of a cool down match than a showcase squash match, and that's exactly what we have here. It was the Raw debut of Nia Jax, and she went up against a female jobber by the name of Britt Baker. Beautiful young lady. Nia Jax squashes her in 1 minute and 20 seconds. Michael Fletcher, Nia Jax, how impressive was she in this squash here?
You know what? This is what, if you guys have not seen NXT, or if you've been living under a rock, welcome to the future of the women's division. I'm telling you guys right now, Nia Jax is a champion in waiting. What she brings to the table is unbelievable brute strength, raw power, and she will destroy. She is the only thing I could think of, and I'm going to be very honest with you. Derek might know this person very well outside of, in the Japan years. Bull McConnell was her name. And she was in, during that same time, with Alundra Blades in about 1995, 1996, somewhere in that area. And then you had Awesome Kong of TNA days. That brute strength in your face, doesn't matter who you are, she will tear you up. And yeah, there is that Wild Samoan heritage, Afa Sika, the Wild Samoans. She's cousins with The Rock. So, I mean, of course a lot of people were really shocked and stunned that she got drafted to Monday Night Raw, coming out of NXT, one of the 6 that got selected for that brand, and she will be an instant impact player. She's still green, still a little raw, no pun intended, but it is what it is. But I think that we're going to see something very bright and an unbelievable future for Miss Nia Jax. Like I said, she has the capability, she's got the family history and lineage that's going to make her an impact player. And plus, now that the women's division has been somewhat altered with this new look and this new attitude, I think Nia Jax will definitely be, at least in my mind, a major player in the very near future for the women's divisions. But until then, yeah, it's a squash fight. Yes, I'll call it a dud. You can easily call it the worst fight of the night, but, you needed to introduce her some way, somehow. This is booking 101. When somebody makes a big debut, or this is the first time that they got to do it, they got to throw them a couple of ham and egg or bronies. They have to. As much as we may hate it, this is how you have to roll them out. So, she looked good, she looked strong, and that's what we need to see. Give it about a month, then we're going to start seeing her get some legitimate competition. But as a heel, there's not that many baby faces on Monday Night Raw, and there's not that many baby faces in the women's division, so there's going to be a problem there when it comes to that. How are you going to get Nia Jax to the opportunity to possibly fight for the title? She needs to do, I don't know how they're going to do it, and that might be one of the problems I see that Monday Night Raw is going to have going upward and onward when it comes to the women's division. This is one of those underlying problems that needed to be addressed, that we need to get to, but we'll get there soon enough. Derek, it's yours, man.
Yeah, dud. That's how I'm gonna rank it. It was easily the second worst fight of the night. You do see a lot of comparisons to Bull Nakano, Awesome Khan. I've said Jessica Havoc in the past because, quite frankly, those three girls are big girls. I mean, they're beasts. I like to say beasts. And this is what this Raw actually needed after a top fight of the night for sure. Jax basically, showed off her moves, just really basically destroyed a jobber, and this jobber didn't have no offense to her game whatsoever. I mean, she just basically had nothing on Nia Jax, and this is how you make Nia Jax look like this monster of nature. It was simple booking. That's how you want to introduce her. Meanwhile, for Baker, I think this was a way for her to get into some kind of WWE developmental deal. I'm just saying that because what's happening with NXT now that they could be losing Bayley to the main roster in months' time. You have Asuka, but who is going to be pretty much, out there for NXT in the women's division? There's not a whole lot of women out there right now. Sure, they can go into the independents and can get somebody like an Eva Lise, maybe bring back someone like Mickie James to go, even though I think that is a big long shot because Mickie James is pretty much someone that goes into the main roster. They got to get independent women. It's simple. Maybe a Candice LeRae would make sense in the future. So we'll see what happens, but I think Britt Baker kind of did impress some kind of WWE officials tonight, and who knows, she might get a contract in the future after taking that beating from Nia Jax. So I believe it's Bullock's turn.
Yeah, this was a dud. This was one of the worst fights of the night. This was basically a showcase fight. I mean, this was Nia Jax's first match on the main roster. I mean, you saw the work from her in NXT. I mean, she's all brute strength and she gave Bayley a run for her money when she faced off against Bayley at NXT TakeOver London, and the potential is there for her. I mean, this was basically just to show her off. So I think, like you said, give her about a month, and then we'll see what happens from there. Maybe you do put her in the women's title picture at some point, but this was basically just to get her feet wet on the main roster. So who knows? I think I'm actually high on Nia Jax. So we'll wait and see what happens. So this was a dud. So Dee Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Definitely a dud. I can already see they're going to probably do this just about as long as they did with Cruz with the enhancement matches. I mean, there was divas on the roster that they could have gone with over somebody that's unknown, but nobody asked me, so I'll pass it to Florio.
Yeah, it is an absolute dud. It is the second worst fight of the night. But one thing we're going to incorporate here on this wrestling forum, my version of the wrestling forum, if the time presents it, is of course Professor mode, and I'm going to go into Professor mode since Michael Fletcher just gave me the ammo for it. He mentioned Bull Nakano. Yes, Bull Nakano went up against Alundra Blaze in November of 1994 at the Tokyo Dome, when it was known as the Egg Dome back in the day. Bull Nakano defeated Alundra Blaze to become the WWE Women, at the time, the World Wrestling Federation Women's Champion. And because I remember they did an interview with her at the Survivor Series that year. And yeah, Bull Nakano, absolutely. I mean, you know, she was a former WWF Women's Champion. Of course, she had a brief career in WCW. You know, she was managed by Sonny Ono. We all remember him. Kong, of course, we can't forget about Awesome Kong, what she did in TNA. So she's more known for TNA, of course. Her WWE run was, well, not really that impressive, although her big claim to fame was, you know, her appearance in the 2012 Royal Rumble match when she was then known as Karma. But Nia Jax definitely has that. I mean, she's that next big, powerful female in the women's division, you know, like a Bull Nakano, like an Awesome Kong / Karma. Heck, I could even throw in Beth Phoenix for all I know, because you know Beth Phoenix. Let's not forget about the Glamazon. We all remember how dominant and powerful she was. But yeah, and Dee Woodson, you make a great point too. I mean, honestly, going into this, I thought it was going to be maybe Summer Rae or Alicia Fox, who just got back from injury. But no, they went with Britt Baker, 25-year-old, who has wrestled on the indies in Pennsylvania and Ohio. And where was this show tonight? Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So that's why Britt Baker was in this match. But I'm going to have more on Nia Jax in a little bit. I'm going to save that for when we get to our women's match later in the night. So, but yes, absolute dud, second worst fight of the night. We're not going to waste any more time. Nia's debut, it was exactly what it needed to be, and further proof that squash matches, believe it or not, can be effective and entertaining. So that's it for that. So, all right. Next up was our second Fatal 4-Way match. Roman Reigns versus Chris Jericho versus Sheamus versus Sami Zayn. Winner of the match in 17 minutes and 45 seconds, Roman Reigns. A spear on Chris Jericho for the win. Derek Ferreira, Hardcore Pipe Bomb. What did you think of this second 4-way match?
Yeah, this match is right around the 3-star range. Yes, it is the 3-star range, and when it comes to what was the best match of the night on the Fatal 4-Way side, obviously the first fight of the night, duh. But like I said, you know, a good match. Really the problem with this is there wasn't a lot of energy into this match, and at times I'm kind of just like, you know, zoning off. But Reigns wins this match. We'll get to him in a little bit. So, Bullock, it's yours.
All right. Yeah. I'm gonna say this was about. I'm gonna say 3.5 stars is my rating on the match. I mean, yes. I mean, I thought it was another good Fatal 4-Way match, but of course the first one I thought was way better than that. But I mean, yeah, we all knew Roman Reigns was gonna go over. So, but the interesting part at the beginning was Chris Jericho and Sheamus basically went after Roman Reigns first, and basically left Sami Zayn high and dry. So, but then the action really did start to pick up, and of course we all knew Roman Reigns was going to get the win here. So now it's Finn Balor and Roman Reigns in the main event later on in the night to see who would face Seth Rollins for the WWE Universal Championship. So who's it going to be? You're just going to have to wait and find out. So 3.5 stars. Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
I'd agree about 3.5 star rating. It was a very, very good match. A lot of action in there and everything. No, not quite as great as the first one, but still really, really, really good. I mean, there was moments you thought maybe Sammy would pull it off or somebody, you know, one of the other guys, but Roman pulled it off, and now we have our main event of Finn Balor and Roman Reigns. So awesome match. So I'm going to toss it to you, Florio.
Yes, it's a toss-up for me. It's between second and third best fight of the night. I could probably say second. I would probably maybe say the second. It's between this and the women's match. I'm going to be real honest with you. I've been going back and forth about it. But after further thought and looking it back over, I think I'm gonna make this the third best fight of the night and give it 3.5 to 4 stars for the effort. I initially had it as the second best fight of the night with 4 to 4.25 stars, but I think 3.5 to 4 is the appropriate rating for this match and the third best fight of the night. Don't get me wrong, it was another very entertaining four-way match. Live crowd was a little slower to get into this match than the first match, but they were definitely reacting to the near falls down the stretch. The Reigns reaction seemed to be some cheers, more boos, and some fans not reacting much beyond his entrance. So, of course, this was the no big surprise. I mean, we all knew. I mean, everybody and their mother knew Roman was going over here. Let's not kid ourselves. But, well, it sets up Roman Reigns against Finn Balor in the main event. Question is, would Best for Business win out, or would we have a big surprise or a rare feat of unpredictability? Well, you'll find that out in just a little while. So, initially, second best fight, 4 to 4.25, but after looking it back, I'm only now going to give this the third best fight of the night and 3.5 to 4 stars. But still a very good match nonetheless. It's still in my top 3. So, nothing left to say here except Michael Fletcher, Cerebral Viper. Your thoughts on this second four-way match? And no big surprise, Roman went over in 17:45.
Yeah, Roman wins the match, and yeah, it's a no big surprise. Look, we all know Roman is getting punished by WWE. You know, that failed drug test was really elusive, and it really messed up a lot of things for WWE. So what happens? Roman had to lose the belt and actually loses the fight. Gets pinned by Seth Rollins clean, only to lose the WWE title. And he's the one that takes the fall last night against Dean Ambrose. He got pinned 1, 2, 3 in the center of the ring. So Roman gets the victory tonight. Great for him. You know, that at least makes him look a little strong. You know, keeps him strong. But there's one more fight. He's got to fight Balor now, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. I can't go 3.5 stars. I'm sorry. There was something about it that just I just am not as over about you guys. I thought the first Fatal 4-Way was a lot better. This one was good. It was solid. But like Anthony said, it was boring in parts, and that's all that I can say about that. So, there's really nothing more to say. So, 3 stars is my rating, and let's move on to the next part.
Well, the next part was a segment involving your now new longest reigning WWE World Tag Team Champions, the New Day. New Day comes out. Each member has a balloon in their hand, but when you put the balloons together, it equated to the number 337. 337, because that's how many days New Day has been the WWE Tag Team Champions. 11 months and counting. Dee Whitson didn't see that part, so I guess Dee Whitson we're going to have to recluse Dee Whitson from her thoughts on the segment. That's fair enough. So I'll start it off in just a moment. Just wanted to give you some more schematics here. They brought a fan into the ring whose name was Sonny Boy, but then we would get a payoff. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, they came out, they ruined the fun, and they basically beat up on New Day. So, thoughts on this? Well, before they brought the fan into the ring, which ended up being, campy comedy, bull funky nonsense. the promo, I thought their promo beforehand was very good. And the video package, I mean, I thought that was tastefully done as well. And then we got a payoff. We had Gallows and Anderson coming out, and my friends, I think we found our next challengers for New Day. I think it's safe to say we're looking at a possible New Day versus Gallows and Anderson tag team title match at SummerSlam. That's just how I feel about it. Year to year first. So overall, let me just say it like this. It was all Sonny Boy's fault. I hope we actually hear from Anderson and Gallows about no longer being on the same brand as AJ Styles. It was a nice start for the duo as a tag team, but my usual fears are in play when it comes to how a serious tag team like Gallows and Anderson will fare while working with the comedic New Day team. For instance, will the New Day show their mean faces the next time we see them? Or will they go right back to the fun and games, break out the balloons and party hats, yada, yada, yada. So, by default, second best segment of the night. The other segment was better, with Stephanie and Foley addressing the roster and basically setting the agenda. There's really nothing left for me to say except Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher, I bring you in. Your thoughts on this segment, and it's safe to say, I think we're looking at New Day, Gallows and Anderson possibly being New Day's next challengers, and I think it's going to go down at the biggest party of the summer in Brooklyn, New York. What do you think?
I'm saying it right now. It's not only the next challengers, but they are your next WWE Tag Team Champions. I'm booking it right here, right now, tonight on the premiere edition of the Wrestling Forum, the Monday Night edition. I'm calling it. Derek Ferreira, get ready. The Bullet Club is going to be partying rock hard in Brooklyn, New York. You're going to be there in front of a whole bunch of fans, and they're going to be marking their butts off because you're going to witness the crowning of new tag team champions. I think the segment itself, I liked it for the most part. I loved the video, the way that they were showing the greatness of the New Day, and it was nice. I love the WWE packages and everything else. I think to bring that fan out was, I didn't give two you-know-whats about it. I thought it was kind of childish and pointless to a fault, but then Gallows and Anderson show up, and they were not messing around. It got serious. It was businesslike. It was beatdown time. And, just like how they had that hashtag beat up John Cena, here's a hashtag for you guys, beat up the New Day. And they did that and then some. They embarrassed them. They humbled them. They trashed them. They punked them out in the igloo tonight, and that is as good as you could have gotten. There was no friction, there was no none of this anything. If anybody thought that the club being split it up from AJ was going to be a major issue, oh no, they're a well-oiled machine, and they are stronger and united than ever before. I'm telling you right now, gentlemen and lady in the room, we're going to have new tag team champions, and it's going to be Carl Anderson, the machine gun Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows. The club is going to rise at the hottest night of the summer, SummerSlam, in Brooklyn, New York, at the Barclays. Ferreira, it's yours, my friend.
And this is why I like the Bullet Club. And one of the reasons why, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, who were the longest, IWGP Tag Team Champions, when I was watching New Japan Pro Wrestling, But anyways, New Day. It was the second segment of the night. You can say it was the second best segment of the night. Yeah. The New Day. You have to say it about the New Day. They are one of the most popular acts in the WWE. This past week at Comic-Con, they have the Budio cereal that's going to come out literally that's going to be a reality, and WWE is hopefully they can bank a lot of money on that. But you have to wonder, when is it going to be time to break up the New Day? I mean, there are people out there that say, yeah, they don't like the act, they don't like the twerking. Honestly, there was campy comedy in this when they had that Sonny Boy, guy, whoever he is. He's probably some ham and egger from another wrestling promotion out there in Philadelphia. Well, not Philly, but in the Pittsburgh, Ohio area. But I mean, it was just at the point to go away. The club coming in, beating up the crap on the New Day. I think that's what kind of really saved it. Yeah, I mean, you could say he was a plant too. But you saw what happened when the club came in instantly. They just basically, this guy just got out of there fast. And I think, to me, the reason why I say he was kind of like an independent wrestler, you saw at the end where they had one of the New Day attires, whoever attire it was, and then Doc Gallows just put a snot on it and just threw it at the Sunny Boys. So you're going to get this at SummerSlam. You're going to get WWE Tag Team Champions in the club. There's no ifs, ands, or buts on that. That would be awesome to see it happen in Brooklyn. So, Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I would have to say by default this was the second best segment of the night. I mean, there were some campy comedy nonsense, but yeah, I mean, I like that video package with what the New Day has done since they won the tag team titles at SummerSlam last year, and yeah, they bring in this Hammerhager, and then all of a sudden out comes the club, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, and they just beat the crap out of the New Day. So yeah, yep, it looks like we got new challengers for the tag team titles. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. They're definitely gonna challenge the New Day for the tag team titles at SummerSlam. And I do agree. I think Gallows and Anderson will be your next tag team champions. So I really got nothing more to say. Second best segment of the night. So I guess we're just moving on to you, Florio.
Yes, we are indeed, because Didi Woodson informed me that she did not see the segment, so she had to recluse herself from that. So more than fair enough. So yeah, we're gonna move on now, and a thought just came to my mind. You know how Michael Fletcher is calling his version of the Wrestling Forum Smack Talk? Well, I just had a thought of maybe I should have a clever name for this installment of the Wrestling Forum, and I just thought of it. I want to run it by you guys real quick. How does Ridiculously Raw sound to you guys? What do you think of that?
I like it.
Yeah.
Ridiculously over Anthony Florio. You're doing Monday Night Raw. Ridiculously Raw. I'm down with that.
Yeah, and I think you should tweak your name just a smidgen and call your show the Cerebral Smack Talk. That's just how I feel. So, but you can sleep on that and get back to me tomorrow when we do that. So, but nonetheless,
I also got to talk to Derek about that too.
Of course. But yeah, I just had that thought. I mean, I figured since Michael Fletcher, named his show the Smack Talk, part of SmackDown, I would throw in the Cerebral in there just a smidge and make it the Cerebral Smack Talk. And yeah, so I think from effective now, I'm gonna edit this, and I'm gonna edit the name of this. I'm gonna change it from the Wrestling Forum to Ridiculously Raw. So this is the debut of Ridiculously Raw here tonight. So because that's what we're getting. We're getting Ridiculously Raw here tonight. But with that being said, as we continue on Ridiculously Raw, our next matchup here, it's another showcase match. We had Curtis Axel in the ring, and his opponent, the returning, back from injury, man that gravity forgot, former NXT champion, second longest running only behind Finn Balor, Adrian Neville. and the winner of the match in 3 minutes and 45 seconds, of course, it was Adrian Neville via the Red Arrow. So I believe since we had to reshuffle the order, I believe Michael Fletcher has to start it off because we had to do that reshuffling because of Didi Woodson missing the New Day segments. So Michael Fletcher, Adrian Neville against Curtis Axel. How did the man that gravity forgot, how did he look to you in his return? Fletch? We didn't lose him, did we?
I so hope not.
I don't know. We had to reshuffle the order because Didi Woodson missed that New Day segment. So and I let off on it. So I don't know if Fletch had to step away for a minute or if he's having issues. I guess I'm just gonna have to throw it to you, Derek, for the moment.
I mean, this was, like you said, it was a showcase match. I'm going to say 1.5 stars. Honestly, with the pacing of the fight, it wasn't that good. And kind of like WWE creative, they made a mistake in how they were booking Neville's return. I mean, Neville, by the way, it was in that same building 4 months ago he got injured. And to me, I kind of thought they're reintroducing Neville. Should have they brought in an enhancement talent guy or someone from NXT? Because I know recently, and I want to bring this up as well, is that I read a dirt sheet that they want to do more enhancement matches on Raw and SmackDown, which kind of does have an old school feel to it. Excuse me. But, Neville hitting his trademark moves, that's the only thing I liked about the match, was him doing all those moves. And I like how they call Curtis Axel Mr. Irrelevant, because that's what he is. He's Mr. Irrelevant. He's basically a legacy project. I've said that from the get-go. The guy's not going anywhere in the WWE. I'm sorry to say it. So, 1.5. I don't know what they're going to do with Neville. I still think he's going to be part of that cruiserweight division. I mean, he has to. But you want to know which talent is going to be in that division, and we'll find out soon enough. So, Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll give it 1 to 1.5 stars as the rating for this match. So yeah, I'm not gonna waste any more time on this. I mean, it's good to see Neville back in action. This is basically they want to take it easy on him. He's just coming back from injury, so yes. There's really nothing more to say except 1 to 1.5 stars. Didi Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'll agree with the rating. It was really good to see Neville back. The only reason I missed the segment before is I was picking up my son from work, so otherwise I would have seen the segment. But I got back just in time to see the match, and it was fair. So I'll pass it to you, Florio.
Yeah, 1 to 1.5 for the effort. Like Didi Woodson said, it is indeed great to see Adrian Neville back. 4.5 months after fracturing his ankle in a match with Chris Jericho on the March 14th edition of Monday Night Raw in Pittsburgh, which unfortunately cost him WrestleMania, which was a damn shame because he was supposed to be in that Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship ladder match at WrestleMania. His spot instead went to Zack Ryder, and lo and behold, Zack Ryder went on to win the title. So, which was, of course, which is going to go into I think it's safe to say that's going to be in our shocking moment of the year category when we do our year-end awards. But nonetheless, Adrian Neville looked very good here. Curtis Axel, yes, and Bullock and I talked about it during our Raw chat. I mean, I don't mean to sound insensitive here or anything, but Mr. Perfect, his father's got to be rolling over in his grave saying, damn, my son. I mean, I would have thought my son would have been just as good as me. I mean, I don't think he was never going to be as good as his father. I mean, his father, Mr. Perfect, was so fun to watch. We can, all five of us can say how fun Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig was. You know, multi-time Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, a thinking man's wrestler, one of the great technical wrestlers of all time, and definitely somebody I enjoyed watching when I was a kid. But I can't say the same for Joe Hennig. I mean, I feel so bad for this young man. I really, really do. You know, 3 years ago, he did win the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Yes, he had a run with it. And he held it for about 5 months or so before he dropped it to Big E. And what has he done for us lately? He's been a dud enhancement talent. He's been right up there. I mean, there's only one guy who I think on the roster who's actually worse than him, and that's Heath Slater. And notice Heath Slater did not get drafted. Think about it. But in all seriousness, it looked like the same old Neville in terms of what he did in the ring with a standing moonsault and the Red Arrow. I hope he is one of the guys who benefits from the brand split. I'm still stunned by how little they did with him before he was injured. And what else? That's all there is really to say about it. So, and I agree with Derek's sentiment, by the way. I do think Adrian Neville is going to be, you know, one of the standouts of the brand new cruiserweight division once they decide to start that thing up. So, Michael Fletcher, are you back in, or before we move on?
No, I never left.
Oh yeah, we were just we were waiting for you to unmute your mic. Something, I don't know if you had an issue with your mic or something. I was trying to have you lead off since Dee Woodson missed out on the New Day segment, so we had to reshuffle, you know.
Oh, all right. Well, I completely forgot about that. No, that's my bad. That's my fault. No, but as far as the Neville and Curtis Axel goes, I'll give it 1 star. Neville looked good. There was probably a little bit of some ring rust there, but that Red Arrow, absolutely, I kind of forgot about the Red Arrow for a moment and how awesome that move still is. You know, I remember I was fortunate enough to see the Red Arrow live in person during one of the SmackDown shows in Providence, and I remember seeing that move live, and I was like, oh my God, it's a devastating move. It's an unbelievable move. Very happy, good victory for Neville, and I'm glad that he's back in the ring, man. He's one that I definitely was very high on for a number of years. I missed the guy, and I'm just glad that he's back. So, no, good job, well done. Nothing more to say, so let's move on.
Gentlemen and lady of the room, get ready, because we're going to get emotional here. We are about to have ourselves a Daniel Bryan I am grateful moment. Believe me, we're all grateful for what we're about to get into here. The WWE Women's Championship match, it was here and now. We thought we were going to have to wait until SummerSlam for this. Oh no. Oh no. We got it tonight on free television. We didn't have to pay $9.99 on the WWE Network or 70 some odd bucks on traditional pay-per-view for all you folks who still do that. I don't know why, but we got it on free television here tonight on the USA Network in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the home of the Stanley Cup champs. Charlotte with Dana Brooke versus Sasha Banks. The senior referee, Mike Chioda, was the referee. It doesn't get any more competent than that, to have the senior official for a match of this magnitude. During the match, Dana Brooke would interject, and Sasha Banks would pull an Eddie Guerrero moment, a lying, cheating, and stealing moment, to the point where Mike Chioda said, enough is enough, Dana Brooke, you're out of here. Dana Brooke gets ejected from the match, and when all was said and done, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match, in 16 minutes and 55 seconds, and the new WWE Women's Champion, the boss, Sasha Banks. She does it. And Michael Fletcher, channel your inner Gorilla Monsoon, if you would, for us, please. What happened?
History has been made in Pittsburgh. We have a new WWE Women's Champion. Can you believe it?
and Gorilla Monsoon is smiling down on you, my brother. Simple as that. So, because of the botcheroo, Michael Bullock, you get to lead off, lucky man. So, you had something very interesting to say about this match during our Raw chat initially, but Bullock, as I throw it to you, I gotta ask you, what is there to say? New champion. We didn't have to wait till SummerSlam. I think we just witnessed our women's match of the year. What do you think? Bullock?
Oh, I'm right here. Yeah.
Yep. Your thoughts on the big one?
All I can say is, what can you say? This was the second best fight of the night here, so I'm going to say it 4 stars. And right now, the women's wrestling match of the year. I mean, what a match! I mean, we didn't wait till SummerSlam. We got this match tonight, and boy, it was one of the best women's championship matches I've seen in a very long time. And I mean, it was full of Shakespearean drama. The action was spot on, and all I can say, I mean, the one thing I really loved was Sasha Banks pulling out, channeling her inner Eddie Guerrero with tossing the women's belt to Dana Brooke, where to the point where the referee thought Dana Brooke used the belt, and she got ejected. And somewhere down from in the heavens, somewhere in the heavens, Eddie Guerrero must have been smiling at Sasha Banks, because remember, Sasha Banks, her childhood hero was Eddie Guerrero, and at WrestleMania she wore the very same year that Eddie Guerrero won the WWE Championship. And I know somewhere Eddie Guerrero must have been saying, "Ora de vato, mamacita, used it perfecto." Somewhere he must have been smiling, and then when Florio and I, we had a lot of fun with this match, and we both went nuts when Charlotte tapped out and Sasha Banks became the new women's champion, and we were like, and I was like, "She did it! She did it!" And I was thinking of Gorilla Monsoon, where it was like, "History has been made!" And wow, I mean, what can you say? I mean, this was unbelievable, and ended the long reign of Charlotte as the Divas / Women's Champion. And all I can say is now, well, I think we're still going to get the match at SummerSlam, because I think Charlotte's going to is going to cash in on her rematch clause. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say except second best fight of the night, the women's fight of the year, 4 stars. Heck, I could even go I'll even go up a little bit. I'll say 4 to 4.25 stars, to be quite honest. So all I can say is, Dee Woodson, I give it to you. We're not. All I can say is we're not getting a rant from you tonight.
Amen to that, brother.
No, not on this match. I mean, we finally got a pay-per-view quality match out of the ladies, and we finally got something that we can actually say we're proud of as being a women's match, and not some old half-witted diva match like we usually get. I mean, this was actually, very, very well done, and we actually finally got to see Charlotte wrestle without somebody, trying to help her cheat to win. And at right there at the end, right before Sasha put on the bank statement, you could see that Charlotte was growling that Sasha would never get the title, and of course it didn't take much for her to get it. Um, but yeah, it was a match that you can be proud of, and I'm very glad WWE finally got the act together and got us a match that was good enough for us to sit here and applaud them for it. And congratulations to Sasha Banks. It's about time we have a more legitimate um, champion than what we had out of Charlotte, because we all know Sasha will defend it, and she will defend it without pulling some of the crap that Charlotte did. So I'm really pleased with it. I'm going to go as far as saying 4.5 on this one. So, Flora, it's yours.
So anytime that Dee Dee Whitson had to go on one of her weekly women's rants, it broke my heart inside because I never liked seeing. I don't like to see Dee Dee Whitson that way, but Dee Dee Whitson was a lot happier tonight, and I don't blame her because we had ourselves the women's match of the year, my friends. I mean, what else is there to say? This is the second best fight of the night. This was 4 to 4.25 stars, and yes, this was your WWE Women's Match of the Year. The Charlotte reign ends at 307 days. I mean, wow. When Charlotte initially won the title, I honestly thought she was going to have a solid run with it. I didn't think she was even going to be close to Nikki Bella's run, but she not only got close to it, she broke it. She went past Nikki Bella's run. Nikki Bella's run was 301. We're looking at 307 here. I was a little off. I just did the math, but nonetheless, or actually I think it was more like 306. But who cares? It was more than Nikki Bella. But the Charlotte reign is over. Sasha Banks is the new women's champion. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, I initially thought we were going to get this match at SummerSlam. I cannot believe they actually gave it away on free television, and boy howdy, was it worth it. I mean, wow. You want to talk about Shakespearean drama at its finest, we got it here. I mean, after weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of half-assed ho-hum diva fights, this was anything but a ho-hum divas fight. This was as pure of a women's wrestling match as you can get here tonight. And I know the fabulous Moolah is smiling down. I know Sherry Martel is smiling down. And I know all the other past women's greats in WWE. We're grinning from ear to ear wherever they are right now. Your Trish's, your Lita's, your Victoria's, your Gail Kim's, your Molly Holly's, your Jacqueline Moore's, the new Hall of Fame inductee, and so many others. I mean, what else is there to say except, at least on this night, women's wrestling is back. I mean, this match here, and I told Bullet this, and I'm gonna go on the record for this, and I want you all to put me on the record for this. This match tonight made the WrestleMania women's match look like a ho-hum diva fight. That's how good this match was here tonight. So, hats off Charlotte, but more importantly, hats off Sasha Banks, brand new WWE Women's Champion. She does it on this first episode of Monday Night Raw of the Stephanie McMahon Mick Foley era in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And thank you WWE for throwing us a bone. Thank you for not making us wait for the first encounter for SummerSlam. We all thought, oh, SummerSlam for the first encounter. No. They didn't make us pay $9.99 on the network. They didn't make us pay 60, 70, whatever bucks it is on traditional pay-per-view. We got it on free television tonight. And to channel my inner Daniel Bryan, there's nothing left for me to say except, on behalf of all of us here, we are grateful. Well done. Michael Fletcher, I know inside you must have been, I know how happy you must have been, but more importantly, your 2184 crew mentor, Bill McConnell, I know you actually had a little fun with him regarding this. But Michael Fletcher, your thoughts on this women's match of the year?
I'm still in awe. I don't think my head has wrapped around that Sasha Banks The Boss is the WWE Women's Champion. That is, I'm still blown away over it. And the way she won the title tonight, clean, a tap out victory because of the bank statement. It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. And you know what made the moment even more real for us was the emotion that she had, and I can't believe you guys didn't talk about it. After that, she broke down in tears. She was crying. Emotions got the best of the Boss. And then Byron Saxton got in the ring and started to talk to her about what this moment meant. And she said it. I did it. You know, I'm the new face of the division. I'm the new face of the women's revolution. I am the new face of the WWE. That her path from 10 years old was to become a WWE champion, because it was ingrained in her system. You know, like Snoop Dogg said in the Hall of Fame, the family loves wrestling. Wrestling has been, they're major wrestling fans, and Sasha was one of them. When she was growing up, she dreamt about that, and yeah, it was the Sherry Martells, the Litas, the Trish Stratuses. Because of them, it gave her that outlet, that opportunity to become a WWE diva. And she went through the ranks, she went through the training, she went through the schools, she went through NXT to get to where she is today. And now the Boss has arrived. And what was the one thing Mick Foley said? She was going to be the face of the division. Think about that. When they drafted her to Raw, they knew she was going to be something special. And tonight, Mick Foley and that draft pick comes back in spades, because the Boss is the champion of the women's division. 4 stars is my rating for this fight. It was absolutely phenomenal. Every sense of the word. And yes, it was so crazy because my friend Bill McConnell has this inside joke about how Sasha's going to be his future wife, that he wants to marry her. Even though we know she is engaged to be married to a very lucky young man. But McConnell always had it in his mind that she was going to be the one for him. Think about this. Today is Bill McConnell's. Yesterday was Bill McConnell's birthday. The night that this happened, July 25th, is Bill McConnell's birthday. The 2184 crew and one of my buddies, and I hit him up on Facebook about, look at this. Look at what your girl has just done. The ultimate birthday gift for one of the biggest Sasha Banks fans that I know. His gal, the Boss. Orale vato, felicitaciones, as el gran campeón de la Femerate WWE. Let me pronounce it in English. Congratulations, WWE Women's Champion, Sasha Banks. Derek Ferreira, it's yours.
Well, I don't know how I'm going to follow that, but I'm going to try my best. But a New England wrestler. Yes, I said it. A New England wrestler who started her career at 18 years old for a little promotion up towards us in Massachusetts called Chaotic Wrestling, who happens to be run by John Cena's father, John Cena Sr., based out of Woburn, Massachusetts. Just a sec. I stand corrected. 16 years old, she started her career. She was a teenager. She was known as Mercedes KV. Her first match, October 1st, 2010. An intergender tag team match where she teamed with Ricky Rocks in a losing effort to Alexis, who I'm going to be watching this Sunday for Women's Wrestling Revolution, and Danny E. And you know, she did wrestle in intergender matches. Lost to Danny E. But she became a champion on December 2nd, 2011, defeated Alexis in an I Quit match. And she became champion, I believe, for 182 days in Chaotic Wrestling. And she broke Alexis's previous record. And then she got her title back. And she had a reign of 260 days. Had to vacate the title because she signed with WWE. So we knew a wrestler from Boston, Massachusetts was going to the WWE. And not only that, she wrestled for New England Championship Wrestling. Has wrestled in numerous independent organizations around New England, even in Rhode Island. So Sasha Banks tonight made a whole bunch of New England wrestling fans, even here in Rhode Island, made us look great tonight. As far as the match goes, 4 stars. This was great. This was a very good match. Both individuals busted their necks. You had that intensity. You had that energy. And the crowd in Pittsburgh made it feel like an NXT atmosphere. It made it look like what I saw in Brooklyn last year with Bayley and Sasha Banks when they tore the house down in that 5-star classic, that match of the year, was chock full of Shakespearean drama. And we had Shakespearean drama in this match tonight. It was just a great moment. And the great moment when, you know, she was emotional. I can't even talk tonight, but, you know, we all celebrated this accomplishment tonight. And I don't know why they wanted to do this match tonight. I guess they wanted to start off the new era in a bang. We could have seen this at SummerSlam in Brooklyn. But man, Sasha Banks, the second ever WWE Women's Champion. And when was the last time we had a Women's Championship change hands? About 2 years ago, I believe, when AJ Lee came back and defeated Paige in Hartford, Connecticut. I believe that was the last time that happened. So, match of the night, I mean, Sasha Banks just made a whole bunch of New England wrestling fans happy tonight. So, let me toss it back to Florio.
Oh man, I don't even know how we're going to follow that, but man, oh man. I mean, I am very surprised they gave Sasha the title just a week after Charlotte was picked so high in the draft, and more importantly, before SummerSlam. I honestly thought this was going to be the setup match that would leave fans hoping to see Sasha win the title at SummerSlam. Even so, the title change was over huge with the live crowd. The fans seemed to be reacting to spots more than pulling for Sasha, but they really rallied behind her in a huge way after she won the championship. And I forgot to mention, it was a little bit of a scenario I wanted to get into real quick before we move on. Um, I think we're obviously going to see Sasha and Charlotte again. I think we're going to get the rematch at SummerSlam. I think Sasha's going to go over. I think Sasha will successfully defend, and I think it's going to set up. Hear me out. Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax at the newly renamed Clash of the Champions on September 25th in Indianapolis. That's how I feel about it. Because remember, it's no longer Night of Champions. They're calling it Clash of the Champions now. So there's some food for thought for you guys right there. So, oh man, what a moment. And unfortunately, we have to go from a great moment to another cool-down fight. And it doesn't get any more cool-down than yet another squash match. We had the former black sheep of the Wyatt family, Braun Strowman, in his singles debut, goes up against some Hammernager jabroni named James Ellsworth. He squashes him in 1 minute and 10 seconds. So, Didi Woodson, I got to ask you really quick, point blank. I know it's a dud. I know, and all that. But did Braun Strowman at least stand out to you in any way, or no?
It was interesting. I'll give it that much. Seeing him out of the, Wyatt family thing, but yeah, it was basically a squash match and not really worth the time to have it on there. But I will give at least props that they're trying to repackage him out of the Wyatt family. So I'll toss it back to you.
Yeah, this was an absolute dud. This right here was the worst fight of the night. Perfect cool down match. The fans really needed a breather after that after that emotional win by Sasha Banks, capturing the women's championship, and after redoing the math again, the 309 days. That is exactly how long Charlotte's reign lasts. That's how many days it ends after 309 days. 8 days more than Nikki Bella had it. Nikki Bella had it for 301. Charlotte held it for 309. Now we'll see how long Sasha gets it. Hopefully it's just as long, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But if they do put her up against Nia Jax at the Clash of the Champions, I think Nia Jax could go over. That's just how I feel. But give it a couple of months. But getting back to Braun Strowman, yes, it was a dud. Yes, it was the worst fight of the night, but Braun Strowman looked absolutely impressive. I mean, I've been high on this guy. I really have been. I mean, I saw the man live last year when I went to SmackDown in Providence. I mean, TV doesn't do the man justice. If you see this guy up close and personal, he is a freak. Let me tell you that right now. 6'8", 385-pounder. And let me just say it like this, to sum it all up. This was the type of enhancement match intensity that we all grew up on back in the day, and we missed until tonight. You can't do a full show of monsters destroying guys who look like they could have no other profession in life than being a jobber. But it sure is fun and effective in small doses. Keywords. Dud, worst fight of the night. Michael Fletcher, I already know it's a dud and worst fight of the night, but how did Braun Strowman look in your eyes in his singles debut?
I thought he looked very impressive. I mean, he looked as that big, menacing monster that we all thought he was going to be. So, no, obviously, dud. Obviously, one of the worst fights of the night. Nothing bad to say about that. But, I mean, it was what we thought he was. And that was a monster, bad blank heel, and he looked like it. And, like I said, nice rollout for opening night, but we like to see more. But we know you gotta give him an opportunity at the beginning, and then we'll go from there. So, but nah, not bad. Derek, is yours.
Yeah, this was the worst fight of the night, without question. Pretty much like what you saw with Nia Jax earlier. Just an effective squash match, and they had to reintroduce Strowman as a singles competitor. So, bullock it was.
Yeah, this was a dud. This was the worst fight of the night, but yeah, Strowman really definitely stood out to me. I mean, in his first match as a singles competitor, I mean, yeah, it was against a Hammernager jabroni, but still, I thought he looked impressive in the short amount of time. So So who knows what to expect from Braun Strowman? So yeah, so dud. Florio, let's move on.
Well, we follow up another cool down fight with another cool down fight, but at least this one was a little more fun because it was time for the Wrestling Forum's favorite tag team, Enzo Amore, Big Cass. They were in the house. His name is Enzo Amore. He is a certified G and a bona fide stud. You can't teach that. Big Cass is 7 foot tall. You can't teach that. Bada boom, realest guys in the room. How you doing? And they go up against the Shining Stars, Primo and Epico. Winners of the match in 1 minute and 50 seconds. Of course, it was Enzo and Cass. Enzo and Cass, of course, with a big boot. Of course, there was some Golden Truth silliness during the match. But with Enzo and Cass winning the match, it definitely proved once and for all that Shining Stars, there's only one word to describe you. And we're gonna
spell
it out
for
for
you.
y'all.
Fellas,
S-A-W-F-T. Soft.
and that's what this match was. S-A-W-F-T. Soft. 1 to 1.25 stars for the effort. Another one of the worst fights of the night. Another showcase match. I mean, after seeing the Shining Stars, there's a small part of me, keyword small part of me, that actually misses Los Matadores. I mean, I thought it couldn't get any worse than Los Matadores, but this Shining Stars gimmick is already starting to wear thin on me. And yeah, this has Dud Enhancement, Jobber, Jabroni tag team written all over it. And it's a damn shame too, because these guys are talented. They can work. It's just that the gimmick, well, leaves a lot to be desired, if I'm going to be real honest. But imagine if the Shining Stars had interrupted Enzo when he seemed like he was on a roll, rather than Big Cass when he was delivering a forgettable list. So, but nonetheless, the match was rather meh, to be honest. A good showcase for Enzo and Cass. 1 to 1.25 stars for the effort. Shining Stars, yeah, SAWFT. There's nothing left to say. So, all right, Fletch, the certified G's, the bona fide studs. Obviously, they look a lot more impressive than the former tag team champions. And I can't believe these guys were once tag team champions in Primo and Epico.
The thing is, they lost their luster the minute because remember, Primo and Epico and Rosa Mendez was certifiably one of the best tag teams in WWE. I mean, when they had that trio together, they were flawless. They worked off. I mean, I wish they kind of brought that gimmick back in a way. You know, I think it's time that, I know Rosa was basically, even though she wasn't drafted, Rosa Mendez had to go, and she recently had a baby, a whole bunch of things was going on in her life. But honestly, if they bring her back, reunite them with that crew and just give them their old gimmick back. I mean, I liked Primo and Epico just as their own because it was more about the tag team, it was more about the wrestling, and you didn't have to make it a gimmick type thing. It was just them being themselves with Rosa, and that team was beautiful. There was nothing bad about it. But they decided that they wanted to do the Los Matadores, all this other stuff, whatever. Enzo and Cass, they look good. This is one of those teams that you knew once they got to WWE, it was going to be, something big, something huge. And what do? They turn around, and even Shane McMahon wanted them so bad for SmackDown. You saw the disgust on his face when Raw drafted him. Shane McMahon was so ticked that he ripped up his piece of paper and chucked it. I mean, he was absolutely furious that Enzo and Cass got taken off the board and was going to Monday Night Raw, because I think he wanted them so bad on that crew. But it is what it is. It happens. But to me, like I said, it was a 1-star fight. But I wish WWE goes back and repackages Primo and Epico, because like Anthony said, they were former tag team champions. They were a good team. You know, when they had them and Rosa Mendes, that worked because it was about them. They didn't have to make that big of a storyline about them, or there was nothing silly or stupid about them, you know, because the thing is, they're trying to talk about, oh, how America is so bad and their country, which is Puerto Rico, is so great. Look, I'm Puerto Riqueño. I'm part Puerto Rican, and there are a lot of beautiful things about Puerto Rico, no doubt about it. But I would never ever disrespect the United States of America either. That's not me. I would never do that. Because the U.S. is where I was born. This is where I was raised. So, I mean, it kind of is a little more hard for me to take them seriously because I think their gimmick is stale. And then on top of that, I just don't feel I can't relate to them. That's the biggest problem that I got with them. Derek, it's yours.
All right, so I'm about to say this. I mean, this was hot garbage. I'm sorry. This was. Are you serious? I mean, yeah, you give Enzo and Cass the win. I think this was more about a momentum boost, but come on, why? Why the Shining Stars? I just don't understand at all why they would pull this off, but it's WWE Creative. You know, sometimes WWE Creative has to do something, and you know they did the whole pop culture thing with the Pokemon Go. So I'm just gonna move it to whoever takes it takes it.
I'll give it 1 star for the effort, but yeah, you guys pretty much touched on it, so I'm just gonna move on.
All right. Did Didi Woodson go?
No,
All right.
Yeah, Didi Woodson, it's yours.
I'll give it 1 star, but only for Enzo and Cass because this was probably the stupidest segment, or if you want to even call it a segment, a match, whatever you want to call it, that I think I've ever seen. Shining Stars is at the point of go home. We're tired of you. I mean, I don't know how many times they've repackaged these two, and it's just the same crap every time. It's, you know, if you're going to have these guys on there, I mean, have them do something legit, but, you know, this is getting ridiculous. I mean, this is about as bad as having Chavo changing his name to Kerwin White or whatever it was back in the day. So, you know, I'll give it a star, but like I said, I'm going to only give that because of Enzo and Cass. So, you can have it now, Florio.
Ugh, you had to
Oh
bring
my
back
God.
memories of Chavo Guerrero changing it to Kerwin White. Ugh.
I can't believe we got a Kerwin White reference from Didi Woodson here on the Wrestling Forum. Oh my goodness, there
Yeah,
goes.
I was trying to forget about that whole Kerwin White thing, but yeah, you brought it back up. So thanks a lot, Didi Woodson.
Hey, it's the truth. I
Well,
have to say, Chavo as Kerwin White was a lot better than this crap tonight, and
amen.
and that's coming from someone who, like I said, I'm also a Maria fan, and she had to sit there and go through that Kerwin White crap in that one interview.
That's right. Yes,
So,
right. Yes, indeed. Our girl Maria Kanellis Bennett, absolutely. And believe me, I'm going to be mentioning her. Believe me, later on in the Tony's Take, because you know she had a big moment this past week on Impact Wrestling, Didi Woodson, which I know we both very much enjoyed. So,
oh
but
yeah,
we'll get into that. We'll get into that on Tony's Take. Trust me. So, but yeah, but nonetheless, a Kerwin White reference. Oh man, I thought this show couldn't get any better. Wow, unbelievable. All right, but yes, to put the matter to bed, Michael Fletcher had it absolutely right when you had Primo and Epico, with Rosa Mendez, 4 years ago when they were the WWE Tag Team Champions, that they never ever should have tinkered with that. We've all heard of the expression, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They thought it was broke, they fixed it, and look what happened. We had a god awful gimmick in Los Matadores, and an even worse gimmick with the Shining Stars. Good grief. But good for Enzo and Cass, and hopefully it's on to bigger and better things for those two, because damn it to hell, they deserve it. That's all there is to say about it. Enzo and Cass deserve a lot better. So, but with that being said, folks, let's get into the main event. The number one contenders match, if you will. This is the match that would determine Seth Rollins' opponent for the inaugural WWE Universal Championship match at SummerSlam. Roman Reigns, Finn Balor. The winner of the match in 13 minutes and 55 seconds. Wait a minute, this has to be a typo. No, it's not a typo?
It's not a typo, Florio.
Finn Balor actually won this match? Yes, I already knew that, but I was just being a smart aleck. But yes, folks, it's not a typo. It's true. It's damn true. The Demon, Finn Balor. He does the impossible. He beats Roman Reigns with the coup de grace. 13 minutes and 55 seconds. So at SummerSlam, it will be Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor to determine the inaugural WWE Universal Champion. That's going to be at SummerSlam. And I believe it's Fletch who starts this off. Am I right?
It's me.
All right. Good old MF, Michael Fletcher. What? Finn Balor beats the guy?
He's no longer the guy. That's the thing. He lost the guy's status when he failed that drug test, Anthony Florio. Now we're looking for a new guy. And how fitting is it that it could be either Seth Rollins or Finn Balor, who could be now the new face of Monday Night Raw. Derek Ferreira, I actually hate you right now to know that you're going to Brooklyn and two of your very favorites are going to get to go at it for a brand new belt, custom made for Monday Night Raw, and you're going to get to see this live in front of 20,000 or 21,000. I don't know how many they're going to have at the Barclays Center. I'm jealous as heck right now that you're going to get to see this live. So, this was an unbelievable match, a great main event, another 3.5 to 4 star fight, and it was a tremendous battle because of the fact that, with Balor and with Finn Balor and with Roman Reigns, it was obvious. You don't want Roman to win it. The fans are gonna boo. Whatever was gonna happen. It was fun, and the whole 9 yards. It was a great match because the psychology was there, the body of work was there, everything that played out was perfect to a T, and the ending was actually perfect because it was a clean win, another clean victory, no dispute, no arguments. They got the job done. The coup de grace, he nailed them with it. Double foot stomp, Warrior's Way, whatever the heck you want to call it. 1, 2, 3, done. That's it. There's no argument. And now, Finn Balor and Seth Rollins are gonna fight for the inaugural WWE Universal Championship. I mean, okay. This is an IWC's dream right now. This is already, you could pencil this down as the fight of the night. Forget it. This is going to be the fight of the night. Is it going to be good enough to be the fight of the year? because right now, this might have the makings of a Fight of the Year candidate. I mean, we've been looking for different fights, different battles, different moments. This could be the one. This could be it. It could be unbelievable. It's going to be how do you try to top this? How? One thing's for sure, and I know the IWC is probably losing their minds right now because, okay, it's Rollins versus Balor, but then who do you go with? Who do you pick? You got a lot of Seth Rollins fans. Derek knows because he went to Monday Night Raw last week. There's a lot of Seth Rollins fans. There's a lot of Finn Balor fans too. There's a lot of Finn Balor fans in the IWC. This is a worst case scenario for the IWC fans because people are pumped because you got two amazing workers gonna fight it out, but the fan base is gonna be pissed. They're gonna be heartbroken because if Balor wins the belt, fans are gonna flip out because Seth Rollins, he's now that guy that he gets so close to the title now and he still hasn't won it yet. Yeah, he won the WWE Championship from Roman Reigns, only to get the belt snatched from him about 2 minutes later by Dean Ambrose because of the Money in the Bank cash-in. But if Balor doesn't win, then a lot of people are going to be like, oh man, too fast, too soon for Balor. He may never get another chance at it again because of the fact that look at the powerhouses that they got on Monday Night Raw. Because you got, look, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Jericho, Cesaro. You think obviously Roman's going to get another chance at this belt again. They're going to get a shot at this belt. So if you're Balor, this is the most golden opportunity to become an instant player. Yes, Seth Rollins was picked number 1 in the draft, meaning he should be the face of the company. But Finn Balor was the first guy from the NXT draft that was taken away, number 5 overall. What does that tell you? That means they got very high hopes for Finn Balor. So, I mean, good luck to anybody who's going to try to predict this fight who thinks that they have an idea who's going to win this match. Because you're not going to... Anybody who says, I think this guy's going to win it, this guy's going to win it, you don't know. You don't know for sure. I want to say something else, but it's a PG show, so I'm going to be I'm going to mind my P's and Q's and be very professional here. But it is what it is, and that's just my thought overall. It's going to be an amazing fight. 4 stars for this fight tonight. Derek Ferreira, it's all yours, my friend.
Wow, the month of July keeps getting better for me. Seriously, I think this is like my lucky month. Just saying, but I want to share this little Derek tidbit over here. Since we're on the East Coast, and there are people I'm sure watching on the West Coast, today's Finn Balor's birthday. Well, here on the East Coast it was yesterday. Still on the West Coast, it's technically Finn Balor's birthday. 35 years old. And this is a great birthday present for him. Holy crap. I mean, I've been following Finn Balor's career, or Fergal Devitt, Prince Devitt, since he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and how he was one of the great junior heavyweights in Japan. I mean, literally rivaled Jushin Thunder Liger's reign. And Jushin Thunder Liger, without a doubt, is the greatest junior heavyweight in Japanese wrestling. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Any wrestling fan can try to debate me on that. But you know what's going to happen? I'm going to win. Because I got all the information, all the stats in my head on Jushin Liger. Man, the fall of the Roman Empire. Which fall is better? The Roman Empire falling back in the old times, or Roman Reigns' empire falling? That's what happens when you get suspended for 30 days. You get punished. But this match, this was a good match. And I believe I had this as, let me see, a 3.5 star fight. And it really told a story that Balor was overcoming that adversity, and he won clean in this match. So Finn Balor, without a doubt, and this is the reason why he was drafted so high in the draft, was kind of like a top 5, top 3 pick. They want to make Finn Balor a star. And if you want to make a guy a star, you can do that in one night. Man, Michael Bullock, during the road to WrestleMania, had to make a very tough decision. He had weeks of trying to make a tough decision. Undertaker, his favorite wrestler of all time, going up against Shane McMahon, who was the poster boy of the IWC when he came back. Now I have to make that decision. Seth effing Rollins, the architect, the man that was Plan B, the guy behind the heist of the century at WrestleMania 31, going up against a demon. Whenever he sports that war paint, that's when it comes out. God, I got 4 weeks to make that decision. 4 weeks. I'll tell you, man, that Friday night, when we do our special SummerSlam show, and I'm on location, I'm going to have to think hard. This is just going to be so tough. And, of course, Fletcher has to make that tough decision. Brock Lesnar against Randy Orton. The Beast versus the Viper. John Cena, the Golden Boy of the WWE, going up against the phenomenal one, the guy who is the second leader of the Bullet Club in Japan, in AJ Styles, Didi Woodson. Because those two are going to go at it again. So it's going to be some crazy times indeed here on the Wrestling Forum these next couple of weeks when I'm around. So, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, this was a 4-star match. I mean, another really good match. I mean, Florio and I, we had a lot of fun with this match, and we both were thinking, yeah, Roman Reigns was gonna go over, and he was gonna be going up against Seth Rollins. But when Finn Balor hit the coup de grace and got the 3 count, I was like, what? Did they just really put Finn Balor over? Unbelievable. Great job by both men. The action was absolutely fun, and this was a dream match everybody wanted to see. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor. I really wanted to see it, and we're going to get it at SummerSlam for the WWE Universal Championship. This is gonna be a contender for Fight of the Night here. I mean, based on the body of work of both of these men, and just like when it came to WrestleMania, and I was in a no-win situation with The Undertaker and Shane McMahon, Derek Ferrer is in a no-win situation too. So there's really nothing more to say except 4 stars. Didi Woodson, it's yours.
For me, this one and the ladies title match, I can't put one over the other. That to me, we had a match of the night. So both of them, I'm giving them 4.5 stars because I mean they were just awesome matches. I mean, you could see right there, shot for shot between Roman and Finn Balor. Roman tossing him across the ring and and everything, but Finn Balor just came back with his own shot for shot for the whole thing, and I mean near falls, that just something that was just real exciting, and having Finn come out on top at the end, I mean that's refreshing, and even at the after it was all over, they interviewed Roman, and he actually said he has respect for Finn, and looks forward to fighting again against him. That's just that respect right there. That's just enough right there just to tell you that that these guys gave it their all. They did what they did for not only for the title to go for the chance for the title, but they did it for the fans, and that's the kind of stuff that makes you proud to be in the WWE universe and watching these guys. No, I'm not real crazy about how Seth got into the SummerSlam match, but I can say I am looking forward to that match just to see what's going to happen in it. As far as trying, even predicting a winner in that match, I don't even think I could predict a winner in that match. It would be like me trying to decide whether I want Matt Hardy to win over Jeff Hardy. I mean, that's just, you can't do that. So, um, um, I don't know what else to say about it. So, Florio, it's yours.
3.5 to 4 stars, another fight of the night without a doubt. I mean, what a match it was. But Finn Balor defeating Roman Reigns. I'm gonna be real honest with you. When Finn Balor hit the coup de grace on Roman Reigns, I honestly thought Roman was gonna kick out of that and the fight was gonna continue. When that hand came down for 3, I was stunned beyond words. Michael Bullock, you could tell everybody. I was shocked more than you were.
I was as well. I was like saying to myself, did that just really happen?
So that happened. Yeah, and that as Tony Reali would say on Around the Horn, that's something that's one of my favorite sayings. So that happened, and yes, it happened. Finn Balor went over Roman Reigns, and I said it to Bullock. Roman Reigns is being humble. They're humbling the man. I mean, he violates the wellness policy. He drops the belt cleanly to Rollins at Money in the Bank. He gets suspended for 30 days. He gets pinned clean by Dean Ambrose last night, and then he gets pinned clean again tonight by Finn Balor. So it now sets up, like Bullock was saying, a dream match with Seth Rollins and Finn Balor for the right to be called the inaugural WWE Universal Champion at SummerSlam at Brooklyn at the Barclays. But I mean, the IWC is a big winner. We're all a big winner here. But do you know who the real winner in the whole thing is going to be? Derek Ferrera, because these are his 2 favorite guys right here. The architect of the heist of the century, Mr. Plan B, Seth Rollins, going up against his man of the Bullet Club, the inaugural leader of the Bullet Club, Finn Balor. Derek, it doesn't matter who wins. I know you couldn't care either way, but because you're going to be the winner no matter who comes out of this. And Derek, and another reason why Derek's the ultimate winner, not just because these are his 2 favorite guys, but he's going to be there live. He's going to be there in person to see his 2 favorite wrestlers right now, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, go at it for the Universal title. Wow. Unbelievable. And Michael Fletcher, you damn right, it's going to be the fight of the night. And if I'm going to be real honest, it should be one of the main events. I'm not sure if it's going to be the main event. I would love for it to be the main event if I'm going to be real honest with you. Depending on what they have in store for Dean Ambrose and the other WWE Championship, the WWE World Championship, maybe we'll find out some more on that when we get to SmackDown Live. But nonetheless, Balor and Rollins, like JBL would always say, I think on that night we're gonna have to put in a call to the sheriff in Brooklyn because those boys are gonna steal the show. believe that? Wow. 3.5 to 4 stars, another fight of the night to cap off what was an extraordinary, and I do mean extraordinary, debut edition of Monday Night Raw, the first installment of Monday Night Raw in the Stephanie McMahon, Mick Foley regime. Well done. Overall review time, I believe it's Derek Ferreira who starts it off, so Derek Ferreira, I already know, all 5 of us are going to have very high praise for this show tonight. How high will it be?
Man, let me just say it like this, and I forgot to do my poll on, ProWrestling.net over here, so I'm going to say this was a very good show tonight, and you know what? I'll pull in the trigger. 9 to 9.5 out of 10. I was originally going to go with 8.5 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10, but 9 to 9.5 out of 10. Man, and a lot of love on ProWrestling.net. They're giving this an A show. Let me just say it like this. Like I said, I really enjoyed the show tonight. They had to deliver tonight because it's kind of like a remake. And anytime in Hollywood, a lot of these remakes that come out, they fall flat. WWE didn't do that tonight. And I forgot to mention the new theme song by Shinedown, a great band, one of my favorite bands. Love that song. Love how they did the surface changes. It kind of felt like, the SummerSlam 2013 surface. So this is a show that they delivered tonight, and this show was kind of like, I'll be honest, when they had like the last, not the last 2 matches, the last 2 dud enhancement fights, I kind of flipped off just a little bit because I was flipping between that and the Democratic National Convention tonight. So those are really my 2 things that was must-see TV for me tonight. But you got the Universal Championship. I'm kind of surprised that they did mention that, but we knew that that was going to be mentioned based on the dirt sheets that we read tonight. You got your matches for the night. They were all top-notch. And, of course, the match of the night, Sasha Banks and Charlotte. That huge title change got a great reaction. It was like an NXT atmosphere in Pittsburgh tonight. And there was a lot of good wrestling and a lot of good things that happened on the show tonight. So, hopefully, this is a great start. My guess is next week, I think the rating is going to be a little bit lower. I just hope it's not one of those back-to-reality shows. I'm looking forward to see what happens on SmackDown tomorrow night. And yeah, and that's it. So I'm actually going to be heading out right now, but of course, I'll be back tomorrow night as well and, talking SmackDown. And I got some news on Women's Wrestling Revolution. A couple of matches have been announced. I got more ticket information on Beyond Wrestling. Also, I'll talk about NXT tomorrow night. And then, New Japan Pro Wrestling. They had their Best of the Super Juniors. We got the G1 Climax. I'll be watching that tomorrow morning as well. So I will see you guys tomorrow night. Michael Bullock, it is yours.
All right. I'm gonna say this was. I'm gonna say a 9 out of 10 for me for this edition of Monday Night Raw. I mean, man, what a night this was. I mean, everything. I mean, you had the women's title match was good. I mean, was really really good. The 2 fatal 4-way matches was awesome as well. The match with Finn Balor and Roman Reigns, that was awesome as well. I mean, yeah, you did have you had a good opening segment. You had a good segment with the New Day, and yeah, you did have some low lights, but who cares? this was a fun show tonight. Really got nothing more to say except I'll give it like 9.25. If I'll be quite honest. So, what a night! What a night! There's really nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'll go with about 9 stars. We actually had a lot of the new talent showcased tonight, and that right there alone made it, made the night worth it. And then the icing on the cake was having, Sasha winning the women's title and Finn Balor defeating Roman Reigns to go on to face Seth Rollins at the pay-per-view. And it was just an amazing night. Didn't have a lot of bad to say about it. Yeah, we had a few dead enhancement type matches and cool downs, but and from what I'm hearing, one very lousy segment that I missed. Thank goodness. But other than that, it sounds like it was and from what I've seen, it looks like a really, really good show. And I'm with Derek. I'm going to head out. I have an early morning appointment. So good night, guys, and see you all tomorrow night for our SmackDown review.
All right, very good, Dee Woodson. We'll see you tomorrow night for the Smack Talk, and yeah, you have a good one, and we'll see you then. So, all right, getting to my overall thoughts on this Monday Night Raw tonight, as we continue on here with this debut edition of Ridiculously Raw. Wow, what else is there to say except 9. I think a solid 9 out of 10 is the correct rating. Maybe 9.25, but I think it's more like 9 out of 10. This to me was far and away the best Monday Night Raw of 2016 so far. I mean, what do we have, like 4 or 5 quality matches tonight? The 2 Fatal 4-Ways, all 3 matches in that series, the 2 4-Ways, and then that final match with Balor and Reigns, and then you throw in a women's championship match for the ages, and then a very good opening segment that was very newsworthy, and then everything else, and they booked it perfectly. I mean, the card, they put the cool-down fights right where they needed to go. We had after the Finn Balor 4-way match, they put in a cool-down match with Nia Jax squashing Britt Baker, and then you throw in the Braun Strowman squash after Sasha Banks, after Sasha's emotional women's championship win, and everything else, and throwing an IWC-like crowd in Pittsburgh tonight, and City of Pittsburgh does it again. I mean, a month and a half after their Penguins win the Stanley Cup, they have another big night tonight, and yeah, well done Pittsburgh, and more importantly, well done Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley. Job well done. A very good first Monday Night Raw. And to sum it all up, let me just say it like this. There were some other words I wanted to get into on the main event quick. A really cool moment to see Finn Balor go over. Roman Reigns continues to shine with a variety of opponents, and I really liked his brief post-match comments about saying how he's hoping Balor beats Rollins at SummerSlam, and he says, I want him again, and I respect him. That was great. He also lost again, and we wonder where that's going to go, if anywhere. And I love that they used this inaugural Raw, the brand split, to create not 1, but 2 brand new stars create a new star in Finn Balor and to showcase Sasha Banks. A big night for 2 wrestlers so closely associated with NXT. Overall, this first Raw of the new era was a humongous hit. Michael Cole followed up a great night at Battleground with another great outing, and Corey Graves is a welcome change from JBL, even though I love JBL. Yeah, Byron is still there, but so what? Look of the show changed, and they did some little things such as adding some post-match interviews. There was a lot to like, and I am more than delighted with how they came out swinging with this first show, rather than just taking the the old best for business, authority, business as usual approach with half the crew. The big question is whether they can maintain this pace when they're not giving away two huge matches. Only time will tell. But nonetheless, 9 to 9.25 out of 10, far and away the best Monday Night Raw of 2016. Well done, WWE. You hit it out of the park and then some tonight. The Finn Balor Fatal 4-Way was the fight of the night. Second best fight of the night, Sasha and Charlotte for the women's title. And then the third best fight of the night, I probably would have to go with Balor and Reigns, and then throw in the 4-Way that Roman won, and then the opening segment and some other, you had some done enhancement fights, but they were booked perfectly. So, one a night indeed. Michael Bullock and I could not have had any more fun doing a Raw chat than we did tonight. Hopefully we can have more nights like this in the weeks and months to come. But Shane O'Mac and Daniel Bryan, good luck trying to top that tomorrow night. So with that being said, let's throw it up to Mr. Smack Talk himself, Cerebral Viper Michael Fletcher. Your thoughts on what I consider at least the best Raw of 2016. Do you agree or what?
No, I gotta say, this was a very solid show. This is a 9 out of 10, no doubt about it. No arguments with me here. The two Fatal 4-Way fights were very good. The main event, excellent. But the biggest talking point, the biggest water cooler moment is the crowning of the new women's champion. Sasha Banks winning the belt tonight. I think that's the one that I think everybody's going to be talking about. And that's going to have that has everybody jumping for now. And, that's going to be the biggest talking point, is how they has solidified some of their top draft picks that they drafted in this Raw in the draft last week, and instant dividends right off the bat. Sasha Banks, new women's champion. Finn Balor, number 5 overall, now in the main event probably in the main event fight at SummerSlam, fighting for the inaugural Universal Championship with the number 1 overall pick, Seth Rollins. You also got Enzo and Big Cass, how big they did. A big debut for Nia Jax. The sky's the limit for that baby girl. Braun Strowman, finally broken away from the Wyatt family. Very impressive in his Raw debut as a solo wrestler. So, there's a lot to really work on and really to keep the eye on the prize. And like you said, good luck to SmackDown. You're going to have a lot of work on your hands, but trust me, I think SmackDown is ready. They're willing, and they're more than able to deliver a big show as themselves. They did beat Raw in the ratings last week. They definitely have their work cut out because of the fact that Raw, even though it's a 3-hour show, that the rating was going to be very high as well because of the body of work and the show and the quality of the show. But I thought the quality of the show was so good. I actually liked the way that I liked the different look this time around. You had, from the commentary to where they were positioned, the camera angles, it looked newer, it looked fresher. There was a couple of wrinkles that normally you normally don't see on WWE television, and it looked really good here tonight. So no, I thought the production of the show was great. I thought the action was great. Very little in the way of talking. It was more wrestling, less talking, which was great. Yeah, we had that one big segment that started the show, but other than that, that was it. So no, I thought Monday Night Raw literally hit a home run tonight, and yeah, good luck to SmackDown. But with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon running the helm, I think SmackDown will definitely have a different feel, a different look, and based off what I'm hearing, there's also a new stage set up for them, a new theme song coming their way. So who knows what we're going to get from SmackDown. I hope that they can deliver in spades. And don't forget, Anthony, and I know I hope, and I can't believe you didn't you forgot this, but next week, Monday Night Raw, you're also going to have a return. Brock Lesnar will be in the house next week. So what is he going to bring to the table? We'll wait and find out. But until then, it's time for the Tony's Take. And Anthony,
Yes.
it's all yours.
Yes, but before we get into the Tony's take, Fletch, I want to ask a quick question of you, and just Fletch. I already talked to Bullock about it, but I want to ask you. You mentioned the commentary, and you remember back in the day, we would always hit each other up on the phone, and we would do our commentary from Monday Night Raw. Seeing the commentary table the way it was set up now, the way it's going to be set up nowadays, where Cole and Graves and Saxton were sitting. Did it bring back memories of our heroes, Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler, our inspirations? Did it bring back in? Did you? I was having
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I was feeling that too. It was definitely a great departure. It's a great little twist. I would like to see SmackDown be as diverse and keep the announce table where they have always had it, which was down at ringside. I think that would be a nice little thing for them because of the fact that it would look a lot more like they would do back in the day. So no, I definitely like the feel that they did, and yeah, you're absolutely right. I feel like with Stephanie, she's gonna go with the throwback. Remember back in the day, if I remember it, that's the way when Eric Bischoff was running Monday Night Raw. That's how they were positioned,
Yep.
off to the side, right next to where the Titantron was. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a little bit of a throwback. Now let's see what SmackDown does. Do they do the same thing? Do they follow suit, or will they keep them down at ringside like SmackDown has always been since day one? So we'll see.
Very true. Yeah. So I was having flashbacks, and even though I was doing it with Bullet tonight, I was still thinking about how back, all those times back in the day when you and I used to do it together, Fletch. When we used to do the Raw commentary thing, that's how we used to do it. And when I saw that commentary table, the way it was set up, I was having flashbacks of JR and the King, and also envisioning you and me sitting there, like we used to do back in the day. So. But we'll see if Mauro Ranallo, JBL, and David Otunga follow suit tomorrow night in Buffalo. So, one a night indeed. And, well, how do we follow that? Well, let's follow it up with the Tony's Take. And we're going to start it off with the second installment of the WWE Cruiserweight Classic, seeing that TNA Impact move is now on Thursday and the Cruiserweight Classic is on Wednesday. And you know me, I like to go in chronological order. So, let's start it off with the Cruiserweight Classic, second installment. First match, the returning Japanese Buzzsaw Tajiri going up against Damian Slater. Winner of the match in 5.5 minutes. Of course, it was the Japanese Buzzsaw Tajiri. Solid match, 2 to 2.25 star match. Very cool to see Tajiri back in the WWE after all this time. Even if most fans' fondest memories are of him in ECW, but my fondest memories of him were in the WWE. When he was a multi-time cruiserweight champion. And in fact, while I enjoyed the feud with Super Crazy, like Mauro Ranallo mentioned, some of my favorite three-ways ever involved Tajiri, Super Crazy, and Little Guido. And we all remember what happened at that ECW One Night Stand in 2005, where Joey Styles had that infamous Ideos Mio moment that made Michael Fletcher a household name. So a screaming Michael Fletcher moment, to say the very least. But nonetheless, 2 to 2.25 stars. Great to see Tajiri back in the WWE, like I said. So. Moving on to our next match, it was T.J. Perkins. You may remember him as Suicide in TNA. He went up against Damac. Winner of the match in 6 minutes and 40 seconds. It was T.J. Perkins with a knee bar submission hold for the win. Solid action here again. 2.25, 2.5 stars. Good action, but I can't say that I'm a big fan of a guy popping right up from missing a 450 splash and never losing offensive control. That said, I'm happy to see Perkins getting the opportunity, as I was always baffled by the silly gimmicks that he was saddled with in TNA, such as being one of the men to play Suicide and then that god-awful Manic character. But, it is what it is. But T.J. Perkins getting an opportunity, well done. 2.25, 2.5 stars. Next up, we had Mustafa Ali going up against Lince Dorado. Winner of the match in 6 minutes and 5 seconds, Lince Dorado. Very cool match that took a fairly quiet crowd and had them marveling over some of the great acrobatics. That's why I gave this a solid 2.5 stars and my second best fight of the night honors. Daniel Bryan on commentary was genuinely blown away by what he was seeing, and I love the way he put it over by saying he didn't know much about him coming into the tournament before gushing over him. The only critique was that it seemed like Dorado could have sold a couple of the 2 counts a hair longer. He was kicking out right at 2 when it seemed like they were big enough spots that he could have kicked out at the last moment to make them more dramatic. That said, it was a really fun match. And then the main event of the evening, Akira Tozawa versus Kenneth Johnson. Winner of the match in 9 minutes and 45 seconds, Akira Tozawa. Fight of the night. 3 to 3.25 stars. The outcome of this match felt predictable, despite Tozawa giving him a lot of the match, and Daniel Bryan's best efforts to establish the heart that Johnson showed on commentary. For instance, the crowd didn't seem to react to his bigger near falls. Still, Johnson has a nice story, and it would be nice to see him get a spot as one of the lower-end wrestlers in this new cruiserweight division. Another solid show overall. I got to give it another 7.5 to 8 out of 10. I mean, I enjoyed this second installment just as much as I enjoyed the first show, but I thought the first show was just a smidge better. But it was still a very enjoyable hour. And next week on this upcoming week on the Cruiserweight Classic, the matches are as follows: Zack Sabre Jr. We're gonna get to see him. Zack Sabre Jr. I cannot wait to see this. I mean, I've heard a lot about this guy. I know Fletch and Derek are very high on his work. He goes up against Tyson Dukes. And then we have Drew Gulak going up against Harv Sierra, Anthony Bennett versus Tony Nese, and in the main event, Raul Mendoza against the Brian Kendrick. Whew. Awesome. Awesome sauce, to say the very least. So that's on Wednesday nights, 9 o'clock, WWE Network. Mauro Ranallo, Daniel Bryan, top notch every week. Now we move on to Impact Wrestling. And I know a lot of you folks have been very anxious to hear what I have to say about this Impact Wrestling show. I said one of the matches on this show was TNA's Match of the Year. You're going to get that in just a moment. As you all know, Impact Wrestling is now on Thursday nights now, of course, because of SmackDown Live, and rightfully so, because they knew they were going to get their ass kicked in the ratings, so smart move. To move it back to Thursday nights, where it had so much success on Spike TV, but now it's on Pop TV. Let's see what happens. We started it off with an in-ring segment. Bobby Lashley, the World Heavyweight Champion, he comes out. He wanted to call out Moose after Moose got involved in his match with Eddie Edwards last week. Instead, Mike Bennett came out, and then Bennett would bring out Moose, and then they would have a stare down, and then what happened? All hell breaks loose. Bennett and Moose go after Lashley, but then Eddie Edwards comes out, and then all hell breaks loose. And then Dixie Carter shows up on the big screen, and she said, "Hey, Lashley, Eddie, get your game faces on. You have a title for title, 6 sides of steel cage match tonight." And then she says, "Mike Bennett, if you or Moose get involved in that main event, you're fired on the spot. And Mike Bennett, you're one of the 8 competitors in the Bound for Glory playoffs, and you're gonna go up against your mystery opponent." Well, it wasn't really a mystery opponent. We already knew he was gonna go up against Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy comes out. Of course, Matt Hardy and Reby cut a little thing beforehand, but nonetheless, we have the match. As far as the segment goes, it was a packed opening segment that was mostly good, combined with a bit of confusion. The Matt Hardy stuff continues to be the highlight of the show, with Hardy adding more and more layers on the broken act while supplementing it with more Lucha Underground style cinematics. In the segment prior, Lashley continues to be extremely confident in the microphone and even shows good wit at points. I mean, where TNA is confusing me is regarding Moose. Are people supposed to cheer him? That's what they are encouraging, yet he's attached to the overconfident heel Mike Bennett. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but Jeff Hardy versus Mike Bennett in the first match of the Bound for Glory playoffs. Winner of the match in 2 minutes and 11 seconds. It was the Miracle Mike Bennett. Yeah, a disappointing match. I mean, I thought this was going to be something good, but considering the names involved, but I can only give it 1 star for the effort. I mean, and these are 2 guys who are really good talents, but 2 minutes and 11 seconds, that's all they get? Horrible. Broken Matt Hardy goes up against James Storm in the next Bound for Glory playoff match. Winner in 4 minutes and 45 seconds, Broken Matt Hardy. He advances to the semifinals. A little bit better, not a whole lot. 1.5 to 2. Not much on the in-ring action, but luckily we got mostly Hardy Brothers segments, which are the top draw on Impact these days. Storm looks like a dope for telegraphing the super kick, but that's his gimmick, and he isn't in the main event, so it was harmless. So Mike Bennett moves on, Matt Hardy moves on, and then we had an in-ring segment with Ethan Carter III that was interrupted by Drew Galloway, and then that ends up bringing out Eli Drake. And yeah, the segment was fine with EC3 and Galloway. I mean, the two just aren't clicking in this current feud. One of the problems is the motive of the feud. They're angry about getting in the way of the other person, then just take turns getting title shots. Now these two have some obsession with starting a fight. As for Eli Drake, the guy has to stop trying so hard and let the reaction come naturally. He got a solid reaction here, but he tries too hard sometimes that his heat loses steam. But it leads into a playoff match, Eli Drake against EC3. EC3 wins the match in 7 minutes and 29 seconds. Okay, a much better match here. A solid 2.5, maybe even 3 stars. The style matchup, well, to some it wasn't there with Drake and EC3, so much to the point where it seemed that Drew Galloway would have been a much better opponent for Eli Drake in the first round. A rudimentary match, which is okay for now since it's just the first round of the tournament. Drake does need to find a way to show more aggression during his heat-drawing sequences to keep the crowd engaged rather than bored. But I thought it was a fine match for what it was. 2.5 stars for that effort. Then we had... all right, and then I think we had some backstage stuff here. Okay, now we're going to have some fun here. All the knockouts in the ring. Gail Kim, Jade, Madison Rayne, Marty Bells, and the Knockouts champion Sienna. Allie introduces Maria, and it's a State of the Knockouts division. And what had happened was Maria, chewed out Gail Kim in front of everybody, and she said this. Well, Gail Kim says, I have respect for all these girls in the ring except for you, Maria, and you, Allie. And Gail Kim said, you know what? I'll face everybody if it means I'll get... What basically happens here, guys, is very simply like this. This is almost like the career-threatening angle with Ric Flair, only this involves the Knockouts Championship. Gail Kim went on the record and said, I'll beat everybody in this ring. And Maria says, okay, you know what? You got it. You will face all the knockouts. But if you lose just one match, you will never again get another shot at the Women's Championship or the Knockouts Championship. And Maria basically puts the bounty on Gail Kim, and Madison Rayne goes and connects. And Madison would lead by saying, nothing personal, Gail, but it's time we all start looking out for ourselves. I know some people didn't like the segment. I mean, there's one guy who said it seemed like a waste of time overall, but to me, I thought this was an enjoyable segment. I could even go as far as to say one of the segments of the night. I mean, the Maria-Gail feud obviously heats up, and I like that. She's also jumping between two things. I mean, on one hand, she wants to fight Maria, and she also wants a title shot. Jade and Marty Bell, that little thing doesn't really... I mean, what TNA really needs to do with the X Division and Knockouts Division is start simple with singles matches and have matches lead to title shots or feuds. Not just any title shots or feuds, meaningful ones. Another Bound for Glory playoff match, Drew Galloway against Bram. Winner in 7 minutes and 10 seconds, Drew Galloway. Second best fight of the night here. I'm giving this a solid 3 stars. This was a very good match. I mean, some good near falls and, two, great talents here. I mean, Drew Galloway, former champion, Bram, who's in the middle of this god-awful angle with the Decay, and mainly Rosemary, but this was a very good match. Really was. I mean, I know some may not have liked it, but I don't care what they say. I liked it. It was a very good match. 3 stars in my book. Second best fight of the night. Okay, now we're going to have some fun. Main event. 6 sides of steel for the title for title. TNA World Heavyweight Championship and X Division title on the line. World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley, X Division Champion Eddie Edwards. Winner of the match in approximately 14 minutes, and still TNA World Heavyweight Champion and the new TNA X Division Champion, the Destroyer, Bobby Lashley. TNA Match of the Year, ladies and gentlemen, right here and now. 4.25 to 4.5 stars. A very good title match with Eddie Edwards getting enough hope spots and Lashley looking dominant. I do, however, have mixed feelings about the X Division title being won by a heavyweight, but for now I am high on the idea simply to keep it away from those weekly pointless spot fests. And but Eddie Edwards was allowed to hang here, and he got enough offense to be believable. The Shining Wizard spots were done well, gave Eddie a bit of credibility. Lashley should look strong, though, as his title reign needs a few good wins. And there was definitely that element of Shakespearean drama in this matchup. This is where Lashley as an X Division champion can work. He's a beast who can have good matches, destroy a handful of opponents. I really don't have confidence in TNA to do so, since this has been a problem for years, but if they do manage to have an X Division guy pin Lashley clean, that could be a huge boost to the X Division title, just like when Brian Kendrick pinned Abyss clean for the X Division belt years back. Then it is up to TNA to avoid the temptation of putting the new X Division champ after in pointless six-way gimmick matches. Overall, decent show, some good, some bad, some pointless. A title versus title match was as good as it gets, and TNA is finding ways to sprinkle Matt Hardy throughout the broadcast. As for the Bound for Glory playoff, those matches, couple good, couple bad, but it's just a series of matches leading up to a number one contender match. 7.5 to 8 out of 10 is my rating for this, mainly because of the body of work of the main event and some other things, but more so 7.5, if I'm going to be real honest. Next week, semifinal matches in the Bound for Glory playoffs, guys. Matt Hardy goes up against Ethan Carter III. Drew Galloway goes up against the Miracle Mike Bennett. And I'm going to check and see if there's anything else that we need to know going into this next show. Not really sure, but that's all I have for right now. It is those two semifinal bouts in the Bound for Glory series, and the Bound for Glory playoffs rather, not Bound for Glory. But yeah. But I think I already know what's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is maybe I do have this then. Because I want to make sure you guys get the absolute best. Okay. All right. I do apologize in advance if you watch the show on Thursday night and I miss anything, but this is what we should have. Gail Kim versus Madison Rayne. World Tag Team title Monsters Ball match. The Decay versus the Bromance. EC3 versus Matt Hardy. Moose. Well, Moose is going to be in a showcase match. You already know how that's going to end. Eli Drake with the Fact of Life segment with the Cowboy James Storm. And then the other Bound for Glory semifinal, the Miracle Mike Bennett against Drew Galloway. So that all goes down Thursday night, Pop Television, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. I believe they do encores at 1 a.m. I'm not sure, but we're going to have to look into that. But Gail and Madison, Decay and Bromance, Monsters Ball for the World Tag titles, EC3 Matt Hardy, Moose Squash match, Eli Drake Fact of Life segment with his guest James Storm, and then Mike Bennett versus Drew Galloway. Should be another solid Impact Wrestling show. So that will put the bow in this edition of the Wrestling Forum. We want to thank you all so very much. Who's amazing, Fletch? I just noticed your group chat here because I was going down my notes. But
you were talking about the Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, Zack Sabre
and that's
Jr.
why I was. Yeah. So. Yeah, he is amazing.
Yeah, I figured as much. I mean, if you and Ferrero are putting this kid over, I got to see him for myself come tomorrow night when I get into episode 3 of the Cruiserweight Classic, and I'll have that review for you next Monday night, as well as this Impact Wrestling show. Who goes to the finals of the Bound for Glory playoffs? And that's basically the big angle that comes out of this. So this edition of the Wrestling, this debut edition of Ridiculously Raw comes to an end. We want to thank you all very much for tuning in. Shout out time. Michael Bullock, if you're still with us, let's start it off with you, pal.
All right. Yes, of course, shout outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there. Continue to support our shows, whether it's this or Strictly Sports. It really doesn't matter. We thank you all so very much for tuning in. Shout outs to, of course, to D.V. Woodson for joining us, and of course to the rest of the Woodson family. Of course to our other super fans, Matt Ward and Jason Hicksonball. And of course, shout outs to all of our friends from our high school days: Al Britterson, Jimmy Alden, Rob Parsons, Eric Carrier, Tom Souza, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Megan Silva, the First Lady of Strictly Sports, Isa Butler. Of course, to Derek Ferreira. I mean, it was good to have him on tonight. So, yeah, so I'll save the rest of my shout-outs Friday night on Strictly Sports, but until tomorrow night for our Tuesday night edition of the Wrestling Forum, the Tuesday Smack Talk. This is the Phenom Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. And of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, Road to Fortune 4 style. Bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody. So Fletch, I give it to you. Well, I don't know. Actually, do I give it to you, Florio, or do I give it to Fletch?
You give it to Fletch because I ended.
All right, yeah. Fletch, it's yours.
You were right the first way that you were doing it. First off, I want to say thank you to all the great fans out there for making the Wrestling Forum as ridiculously over as Anthony will always like to say, and you guys are the best fans in the world. As always, shout out to all the guys from the junior high and high school days. You guys already know who you guys are. To the super fans, you guys already know who you guys are. 2184 crew, I love you guys. You guys have always been awesome. Much love to all you guys out there. And then, of course, tomorrow night, or later tonight, I should say, is a brand new edition of, I guess we're going to call it the Cerebral Smack Talk. I guess that's what it's going to be called now. I'll probably tinker with it, or I might call it Smack Talk Nation, something like that. A little nod of like Sports Nation, but we'll figure it out. But whatever the case may be, it is about, we're going to recap SmackDown Live, their first episode, and then, like you said, Derek Ferrer will be back. He's got his Derek tidbits, and you already heard what that's going to be. And then we got ourselves another edition of the Mikey's Mindset. I got, Ring of Honor. I do have a lot about Lucha Underground. We just had the season finale of Lucha Underground. And then I have a lot of news coming out of RWA. Like I said, on Sunday night, we did crown a new hype champion. And I can also announce possible one match has already been confirmed for the next event for RWA, and then there's even a rumor about another possible title fight, and I need to get my mind off of something. That's right, tomorrow night or later in the evening, I need to go on a Cerebral Viper rant because I'm pissed off about something happened on the show. I got word about it, and I am ticked. Somebody's going to hear my mouth later on tomorrow during the Mikey's Mindset. Full warning, somebody got in my crosshairs, and I am going to unleash on someone. Who's that going to be? You'll find out. So until then, it's Mike Fletcher. You know the routine, everybody. Hood the Hand Pounds. I'm out. Good night. Floyd will take it home.
Oh boy. Yeah, we're gonna have to be sure to get the alarm ready for tomorrow night. Cerebral Viper rants are never fun, folks, and oh boy, we're in big trouble tomorrow night. There go the ratings, indeed. But nonetheless, we want to thank you all so very much for tuning into this debut edition of Ridiculously Raw. Disregard where it says the Wrestling Forum. I'm gonna change that to Ridiculously Raw. The date will remain the same though. I'm still gonna date my shows because that's how I go about them. But we want to give a special shout out to all of you tremendous fans out there who continue to make said Ridiculously Raw, or the Cerebral Smack Talk, and Strictly Sports, and all our other projects, as ridiculously over as they are. We had some decent views for our pay-per-view preview and recap this weekend. Much love to you fans out there. You are the best fans in the world, as always. Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, the entire Woodson family. Dee Woodson, a great job as always tonight. Can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Of course, Matt Ward with his continued Blogspot project, The Rome Report, blogspot.com. Check it out. Jason Hicksonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK, our First Ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, Lexi Calloway, the rest of our crew, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Bradison, and Rob Parsons, and of course Derek Ferreira, who did a tremendous job as always tonight, the Hardcore Pipe Bomb. And I'll save the rest of my shout-outs for Friday night on Strictly Sports. So that does it for this inaugural edition of Ridiculously Raw. We appreciate it as always. Of course, like Michael Fletcher said, we'll see you tomorrow night at 10:30 for the debut edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk with Michael Fletcher, second overall. But we're going to recap the first installment of the first SmackDown of the new brand extension era, the first show of the Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan regime from Buffalo. We'll recap every tidbit of that show. And then, of course, Derek will have his independent scene, obviously, and then Michael Fletcher will give you his Mikey's mindset. Hopefully, time constraints will not put a damper on that. I really hope we get into that tomorrow night because I really want to hear what he has to say, not just about the ROH and the Ultima Luchados, but the RWA Summertime Showdown, including his Cerebral Viper rant. I think I have a hint where it is. If it's about this person that he's gone on a rant on before, I got a feeling it's that Hammernager that he's gonna rant on, but we'll have to wait and see on that. So, so that's tomorrow night, the Cerebral Smack Talk with Michael Fletcher on his channel, BraceFan95 at 10:30, and then right back here Friday night, same time, Strictly Sports. A lot to get into on this. We got a loaded docket. Peyton Manning cleared of HGH use. Josh Gordon reinstated by the NFL, but will serve a 4-game suspension. The NBA All-Star Game moved to New Orleans. Aroldis Chapman traded from the New York Yankees to the Chicago Cubs. The expansion of the Big 12. The Notre Dame versus Michigan football rivalry renewed. Derek will be back on with another sports text segment. And he'll also be on to talk about the 2016 Rhode Island high school football season being expanded to 14 teams. We'll also talk about, at some point, we'll get into Tyronn Lue signing a brand new extension with the world champion Cleveland Cavaliers. And in our double main event, we're going to preview UFC 201, and we will also have our newest installment of the Major League Baseball Power Rankings. If you saw the last one, very controversial, especially when it came to the top 2 teams. So there you have it. So that's the future content for this. And then next Monday night, of course, another all-new installment of Ridiculously Raw. Hopefully it's as good as, this was tonight. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on Fletcher's BraceFan95 channel, it's Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio here for said Cerebral Viper Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, the Twisted Angel Dee Woodson, and the Hardcore Pipe Bomb Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Cannot stress that enough. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching the premiere edition of Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. Good night, everybody.